Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jacob. I don't know what happened. I got kicked out. Let's sing. Okay, good. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopiyana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopiyana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Yashodanandana Radharadandana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Radharadandana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana.
Yamunatira Vanachariya
Yamunadhira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachariya
Yamunadhira Vanachari.
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopiyana Vallabha Girivardhari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopiyana Vallabha Girivardhari.
Yashodanandana Rajaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana.
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Radhamada Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari.
Yashodanandana Rajaranjana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Rajaranjana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana.
Shri Radha Madhav ki
Jai.
Krishna Balaram ki jai
Jai.
Radha Govinda Madhav ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Isopanishad ki jai.
Jai.
Sadhu Satsanga ki jai.
Jai. Jai.
Swagatam, Suswagatam. Welcome. Hare Krishna. So we have Golokananda Priya coming. And we are missing perhaps Vignesh still. Okay, so how are you all doing?
Excellent.
Excellent. But is it hot on your side?
A lot of rain. We've had
Oh.
one of our wettest monsoon. Tucson experiences monsoon
I see.
rain, and we've had one of our wettest on record.
Is it normal monsoon there?
Oh man, it's top 3 wettest monsoons on record.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, it's very, very rainy.
We got to see
Actually-
waterfalls in the desert.
Yeah. I thought monsoon was pertaining only to Asian countries, but I guess I was wrong.
We get moisture coming up from the Sea of Cortez in the Gulf of Mexico, and it comes right through Arizona, southern Arizona.
I see. So I guess you're not too far from the Mexican border, are you?
No, we're about hour and a half, maybe, drive.
Oh, okay. It must be pretty hot, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So Vignesh hasn't come, but Golokananda Priya is on her way. Okay, let's sing some prayers. Yes, who's speaking?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Golokananda Priya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, All glory to the Prabhupada. Welcome, and welcome. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Agyan Timiram Dasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Shakru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Samjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Ishabanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Van Shakalpa Talubhyasha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadigaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Okay. I'm very happy to see all of you. It's been a while.
Our class has gotten significantly smaller.
Yes, people are fizzling out, as they say. I don't know what it's the. I mean, it's always like this, but not to that extent. Yeah, I guess it's all about how we prioritize our existence, and so everyone has his own ways how to prioritize his existence. We cannot poke our nose Okay, so before I start, I noticed when you render your homework, you don't put any capital letters to pronounce when it comes to Lord Krishna. It's always good. I worship him, capital H. It's better when because we're dealing with Supreme Personality of Godhead, so it's good to put capital letter. Even in DBT, they do that. And of course, Vignesh is not here. That's a little bad because I wanted to tell him to tell something that mostly concerns him. The fact that he quotes a lot, which is extremely impressive. He quotes from all over the place, in terms of Shastra. But in preference, it's always good to quote, but primarily we should be quoting from the book itself, from Shri itself. Sometimes we go all over the place, but we ignore the given purport on the study. So I don't mind, again, to have extra quotes, but make sure first you address the quotes within the purport. Okay. So if you have anything to say, please feel free to interrupt me. I started off with, by the way, I really appreciate I guess, that's what basically the demarcation, because Jacob was saying, well, it looks like it's decreasing in terms of attendance. But I noticed, it's quite normal in the sense that whoever has been submitting his homework or her homework is still around. Whoever didn't do that didn't last long. Because, of course, I agree, it takes a little strain on your part, I believe. How much does it take for you to do your homework a week?
Many hours. Many hours. It's like
I'm with Sukumari on that one.
Sorry?
many hours.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, Sukumari, you're going way over the top. I'm not asking you to, it's great. You are like Vignesh a little bit. Again, some people are strictly sticking to the purport, and I guess it takes less time. But you don't have to. You are going all over the place, which is great. I mean, you are quite knowledgeable. But I mean, Jacob, for instance, how much does it take for you to?
Probably between 2 to 3 hours, a week.
Yeah, which is basically, 24 hours multiplied by 7 minus 3. So you still have plenty of time to do other things. I mean, it's fine. 3 hours, it's about what I expected. And Sorel is about the same, more or less than that?
It probably takes me, I usually read the mantras earlier in the week before you send the questions. And then when I get the questions, so probably like 3 to 4 hours for me.
Yeah, sure. But you will notice the questions are quite thorough and precise. And when it's going to come to the day, on the day of the exam itself, it will be a breeze, basically. Because I can assure you, if you have a good grasp of the answers of all these questions I've been asking you on Shri, at the end of the day, you're going to have a strong, solid understanding of this book. And not only that, but you can start teaching the book. As I was telling you in my mail, don't wait until you're formally a teacher. I was teaching way before I got certified, by teachers training course and Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vibhav, all these things. I was teaching way before that. I was not able to certify to deliver diplomas, okay? But still I was doing it, so feel free to already in your temples, in your congregation, start teaching. Because when you teach, you assimilate more quicker, because you're always exposed to the philosophy. You teach it, you mark, you deliver, you're always engrossed into the Shastras. which is basically that's the greatness about teaching. You always within engrossed within Shastra, you know. That's a good
How
soul.
do you teach people? Is that just giving lecture? This,
Yeah,
Giving
you
class?
can give lecture also. I guess you do already. You're quite senior, Golokananda Priya. You give
Yeah.
lectures?
yeah, once a week.
Good. And Jacob and Sorel, Sukumari,
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah, definitely.
On Zoom, yeah.
And the others, you give lectures?
No lectures at the temple.
No, but I mean, you know, it goes without saying, once you are certified Bhakti Shastri, they will call on you. Because that's the way it goes. You know, if you are proficient in at least in those 4 books, then you should make good use of that asset. You know, even before.
You said you teach people. How do you do it practically? Can you please? How have you started to teach? You know what you learn.
Well, I guess you have your own friends within Krishna consciousness. You know, juniors to you, and like it could be official. Like the temple president will ask you, please give a class, or you can also put a note on the board. Whoever wants to brush up on the guitar or Shri show, I mean, you can start with Shri show. We can meet and contact me, and then we can organize a little group, you know, online or face to face, you know, like that. You start very small and gradually it will build up. If they know, even senior devotees will come, you know, they want to brush up, they have no time to study, and they just need to be, you know, to be exposed again to the book. It's a bit rusty, and sometimes, you know, I used to have sannyasis in my class because, you know, they had to take Bhakti Shastri, you know, in order to take sannyas or potential sannyasis, because now in ISKCON, to take sannyas, you need Bhakti Shastri. So they used to come and hear, you know. Okay, anyway, I'm trying to encourage you to start, you know, using your knowledge. Okay, so let's do mantra 14. Okay, so I will read out once and then you guys can repeat. Sambhutim cha vinasam cha yastad vidobhayam saha vinashena mrityum tirdva sambhutyamritam ashnute. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, and his transcendental name, form, qualities and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, man and animals. When one knows these, it surpasses that and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Someone would like to venture to speak out, I mean, to recite the Sanskrit?
The purport? Oh no, the Sanskrit.
No, just Sanskrit.
Okay. Sambhutim cha vinasanam cha yastad vedo bhayam saha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhujam mritam asnite.
Okay, that's good. Anyone else?
I'll go. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastad vedobhyam saha vinasena mrityam tirtva sambhutyam mritam ashnute.
Okay. So, thank you. I started off with this question, and basically the whole topic at hand here is deathlessness. And of course, for me, I mean, for you, it was not an analogy from the book, I have to admit. But I thought of this analogy quite often. No, I have to admit, none of you came up with, I mean, you quoted great analogies, and I appreciate it. It's wonderful. But I was thinking of the analogy of the post-data check. You know this one?
Or
the
not?
post-data check.
Mm.
You know, the
No.
post-data check, Prabhupada gives the example, the scientists, they are so proud of their achievements and they will just boast, here, we've done this, science is about to do that, you know. And then if you ask them, can you create life? Even a grain of rice? Well, anytime, we're about to do that, anytime. So Prabhupada used to say, it's like a post-data check. I give you a big check, $1 million, but I tell you, please hang on to it. I will tell you when to put it in the bank. So it's like that, post-data check. Okay. What's the outcome of being in contact with Prakriti? And of course, all of you have been quite, all of you have been replying quite on the T. Whenever you stirred a little bit away, I sent you respectively to all of you a separate email, and I have pointed out your, little discrepancies here and there, but in general, you're quite good. So what is the outcome of being in contact with Prakriti? Prakriti means natural nature. You can just read out, any one of you can just, if you don't want to speak out of the blue, can just read out your answer.
According to the purport, coming into contact with material nature means undergoing the strict laws that are inherent within material nature. And because all material things decay and die, there's no way to avoid this fact. Obviously this is very perplexing for the eternal living entity.
Yeah, you are also quite right, Jacob. And this is our predicament. We came in contact. It was not meant to be so, but still we came in contact. We could say misuse of free will. Definitely, that's part of the answer. Lord Rishabdev explained in the 5th canto that we shouldn't have taken on a material body in the first place. It was already, the material body in and of itself is a mark of disease. It's a sign of disease. It's a symptom of disease. Because naturally, the living soul doesn't need a material body to navigate. So we cannot lie to ourselves and to others. Someone who has a material body means he's sick. It starts from there. So, but we have been gifted. We have been gifted this material body by dint of Prakriti, material nature, because we wanted to enjoy separately from the Lord. And even though this body is temporary, transient, still it can convey the best method. So we can come out of this material nature. So the material body is definitely, it looks like it's definitely a sign of disease, but at the same time, it's a great tool. We've got the mind, intellect, the senses, and we can use them to extricate ourselves. So this is the answer. But again, all of you were quite on the T. Why do people want to make this world deathless? It's a great, because why do you think medicine is so always upfront in the media, especially in our COVID, because they're trying to make this world deathless.
Because
So
nobody
what does
wants
it,
to
yes?
Because nobody wants to suffer. That's why they're trying just to, they think this material body is eternal.
Yes.
And they have to take care of it. And they have to make it become happy, by trying so many medicines, so many other ways just to make them happy. But they are ignorant of the Vedic knowledge that about the soul, how they can be eternally happy,
Yes,
by
true.
taking to spiritual life and getting the knowledge from the Vedas.
Yeah.
I
But
have to use the human form of life.
yes,
Mm.
I think Jacob touched on it. He said they want to make this place deathless because by nature, intrinsically, they know they are eternal. Everyone, that's why death is a taboo, because it's not natural to die. And intrinsically, people are aware of that. So they cannot deal with it, so they just put it under the carpet. I think you touched on that, Jacob, didn't you?
Yeah.
We are spirit souls. So it's not normal to die. It's a fact. People cannot express it in words like we do, but it's like you're putting sand in the sweet rice. It's abnormal. It doesn't taste good. So death renders the whole situation extremely crude and cumbersome, gruesome. But unfortunately, people are trying to, they got it backwards. They're trying to make a permanent settlement here. And I think you guys touched on that, all of you. In other words, they have no information. This is the mantra 14. Sambhutyamritam. Sambhutyamritam. What's the meaning of that? Sambhuti, Krishna, God. Sambhuti amritam. They have no information of that. What is that concept? Sambhutyamritam. Look at your purport, your verse, Sanskrit verse itself, 14.
Sambucha, eternal kingdom of God, Sambucha, Amritam in deathlessness.
Yes. So in other words, they have no information of the deathless kingdom of God. So in other words, because they are short of that understanding, they're trying to recreate the kingdom of God here without God. This is the problem. And Ramayana is mentioned, it's called Ramarajya. They want to create Ram kingdom, the kingdom of Ram, but without Ram. So little do they understand that actually you have to transfer elsewhere. Sambhutyamritam, you have to transfer yourself to the deathless kingdom of God. As simple as that. Because by nature here, you cannot manage because it's transient. You got it? 216 Gita. Nasato vijati bhava, na bhava vijati sataha. Whatever changes is asat. And in one sense, Prabhupada translates, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in the sense that at the very second I'm speaking again, Prakriti has changed. My body is changing. The cell is dying. And as we grow old, they're dying and they don't regenerate. So you cannot fix matter. Matter is always decaying every microsecond. So in that sense, it doesn't exist. How can you make a place which is transient? How can you make it deathless? It's not possible. By definition, the place in and of itself is perishable. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, the very mask of matter is ugly. The mask of matter is ugly. So, and again, elsewhere he says, unless and until we have a pessimistic outlook on this mature world, we won't find the impetus to live it. You understand? So, we should not be dooms people, like doomsday, but we should be always realistic. Because it's shifting, it's always fluctuating. The modes of nature, it's like it's glimmering, a glimmering surface of something, a lake, shimmering, glimmering. Okay, I think you got the point. Again, interrupt me if you feel insecure. Okay, that's a simple one. What are the different energies? Everyone knows.
Pada, the Supreme Lord's inferior energy, or known as matter, and Pada, the Supreme Lord's superior energy, known as consciousness.
Yeah, very good. It's mentioned in the Gita 7.4, 7.5. And of course, I'm going to be a little tricky. We are Jivatma. Where do we belong, Jivatma?
Marginal energy.
Marginal.
Sorry?
The middle, we are marginal.
Yes, but are we para or para?
It's a mixture of both.
In between both of them.
Does everyone agree with Sukumari? She's saying the Jiv is a mixture of both.
No, I think the jiva is part of the superior energy of God.
Did you listen, Sukumari?
Material body is.
Exactly. Did you hear that, Sukumari? What is the verse? Aparayamita svadyam prakriti videme param jiva bhuta mahabaho yajidam dayate jagat 7.5. Krishna tells Arjun, but Arjun, there is another nature. Jiva bhuta mahabaho, and it's para, superior energy, yajidam dayate jagat, and they tend to exploit the lower energy. We are superior, but we tend to exploit the lower energy, which is prakriti, material nature. And because of that, we get entangled in the complexities. Sorry?
But it's also mentioned that, what was that? Because you gave me the feedback on that point,
Yeah.
and I checked it again, and I realized I got it a bit wrong, but the one verse from Gita says that that all creating living beings are made up of both energies. So I meant like we are as spirit souls, it's a para prakriti, that's obvious, but as embodied living beings, we are covered by the material energy. So as like conditioned souls, like this here, right? This here is a mixture of both. It's not just
definitely.
me, it's a body.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. So
okay, in that sense, I agree now. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about how we formulate things, but definitely you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see where we are. Yeah, so in other words, let me finish on this point, the Jivatma. So we are basically Vibhinnamsha. We are the Jivatma means we are distinct from each other, like we are 5 or 6 in this class. We are distinct eternally. In this incarnation, next incarnation, 5 incarnations from now, we'll still be distinct, irrespective of our future bodies. Plus, we are distinct from God eternally. I quoted to one of you in my answer today that 15.7, we are part and parcel of God, but yet we are also different. So it's mentioned in the purport of 435 Gita that we are part and parcel. We are Vibhinnamsha also. We are Vibhinnamsha. Vibhinna means separated. We are separated amshas. We are separated fragments of God. We are not plenary portions of God. You understand? Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva, like Nrsimhadev, Vamdev, they are expansions of God. They are plenary expansions of God. We are not in that category. We are Vibhinnamsha. Vibhinna means separated, amsha. But amsha, not plenary. We are anu amsha. Anu atma. Anu means infinitesimal. So we're coming from Chit Shakti, yes, superior energy, transcendental energy, but within that Chit Shakti, we're coming from a region called Tatashta. Tatashta means, Tata means bank on a river. There are two banks. The water flows between two banks. Tata. Shta means situated, grihashta, situated in the griha. Tatashta means we are situated between two banks, material and spiritual banks. So we tend to hover from one to the next, especially when we are conditioned. Once we are spiritually encroached upon the spiritual energy, then we stay on one bank, only spiritual bank. Otherwise, we are navigating between the two. And that is due to our flickering nature, unsteady nature. So we are Tatashta, but we are Paraprakriti, definitely. But like Sukumari said, yes, definitely we have been, because we wanted to enjoy separately from God, misuse of free will, we contacted matter. Purusha Prakriti Stohi 1322. We are Prakriti, yes. We are subservient, subordinate, but we want to purush, we want to control, we want to enjoy. And thus the price to pay is to contact the three gunas. And as soon as you contact the three gunas, sadasat yoni janmasu. Sometimes you are born in good condition. Sat, yoni means womb. You are born of a good womb. Sometimes you are born out of a bad womb, bad species. You become a lizard. You become a snail. You become a demigoddess. You become a demigod. So, why? Because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. That's a heavy, heavy toll to pay. Heavy toll. Okay. So let's carry on. What is the double drawback of this apara shakti? Most of you answered quite properly on this one. Two words, basically. People may say, well, what's wrong with material energy? We live in it. We are used to it. What are you talking about? I'm quite happy here. We should try to put ourselves always in their shoes. Why do they argue? How to make them understand? Of course, we need prashad for that. But again, what is the double trap? Double drawback, yeah?
I think we can sum it up by with the two words avidya,
Yeah.
And the second one I would say bondage.
Yes, I think you Jacob, you did right on your answer. Avidya is definitely part of the answer. And let me see, Jacob, where are you? Yeah. A parashakti both entangles the jiva as well as covering him with avidya. One, excellent. This, yes, perfect. This induces the jiva soul to engage in fruitive activities. I was expecting that. Karma samgyanya.
Yeah, I put them.
Yeah, all of you are doing great. I mean, you are good students. So first, avidya, we are unaware of a real identity. There's 5 types of avidya in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5 types. Tadva Vibrama. We are unaware of our own identity. We are unaware of the identity of the material nature. We are unaware of the identity of God. On and on. There's different types of layers of avidya. False ego, ahankar, is another symptom of avidya. And because of that, we engage into karma samgyanya, fruitive activities. And because of that, we become entangled more and more and more and more. And basically, we are propelled from one life to the next because of our karma, due to pap. Pap means sin. Of course, we're doing good stuff also. I mean, now as devotees, but we're kind of okay. But even non-devotees are doing good stuff. I mean, some pious deeds. But still, Krishna says in the Gita 18:15 perhaps, it's a mixture of three. Someone is not a tyagi, it's a mixture of three karma. Good karma. Karma means good, basically. I think Jacob got it wrong there in one of his answer. Vikarma. Vikarma means ugra, terrible. Ugra means ugra nishingadev. Ugra, terrible karma. Vikarma. Impious reactions. And a mixture of the two. So definitely, avidya and karma samgyanya, fruitive activities. That's the double predicament of the jail. Okay. So now let's get into cosmogony a little bit. And the measure of time on Swagalok. I had to correct a few of you, but nothing. I mean, nothing. No, was not too important as mistakes. Just simple formula. Huh? 1 day here, 1 year here equals 1 day there. Try to remember that. So, when we say there means Swagalok. Of course, you have understood by now that, of course, you will see to that in the 5th canto, but the material universe is quite vast and there's different types of planetary systems. For those of you who are Brahmin, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. Bhur Bhuva Swa. We are on Bhurloka. Bhurloka. Our planetary system is the 7th one. There's 14. Om Bhur Bhuva. Bhuva means antariksha. Between Bhurloka and Svarga, there is a space there. It's called, there's no planets. It's called antariksha. And it's full of entities, but they are subtle entities. Could be rakshasas, ghosts. They're not always well-intentioned, these people. And Svarga. So Svarga, 1 day in Svarga equals 1 year here. Time is not the same. That's why Einstein was so great in his finding. What did he find, Einstein?
Time is relative.
Exactly. Time is relative to two things. He went very far, this person. We have, even Prabhupada used to tilt his hat to him. Why is he so great, Einstein? We have to remember his amazing personality. Time is relative to two considerations. What are those two?
Energy.
Space and consciousness. He went very far. I mean, who came up with that formula? Time is respective to consciousness and space. Exactly what we are learning here. You move up in space, Fagalok, the time is different. And even consciousness-wise, did you notice when you are very Krishna conscious, what you accomplish is 1 hour, in 1 hour only. It's amazing. And next day, let's say you are totally in ignorance, in the same very hour, what do you do? Nothing. You just waste your time. Foolishness. You're not active. You feel very drowsy. You don't feel like, you're extremely unproductive. So you can see consciousness affects literally your activity. What to speak of space also. So we can explain that easily to persons. Huh? Okay, next, the duration of a kalpa. What is a kalpa? Kalpa.
I got this.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead. I was reading what Mahavendra
Okay,
said.
Sorel, it's your turn today. You didn't speak as yet.
Yeah, so I was reading because you sent the correct one. So you said one kalpa, it's 4,320,000,000 years times 2 is as much for his night. So it's 8,640,000,000 solar years. That's what you said. Okay.
And the quote is 817, and look it up. And we should not forget that Brahma sleeps also, just like we do. And it's like, of course, the nights last, actually, technically, the night, even our nights last as long as the day. So this is the answer. This is the answer. And of course, Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he breaks it down according to demigod duration. 12,000 years equals to, what does he say? 12,000 years of demigods equals to 12 hours of Brahma. So you have to double it. You have to double it. Sorry, I made a mistake here. 12,000 multiplied by 1,000. It's 12 million years for them. That's 12 hours by 224 million years. It's 1 day of Brahma. 24 million years of Svaga people, those who live on Svaga Lok. For Brahma, it's only 1 day there, 1 kalpa. What is Avyakta? According to this purport, it's a very vast term we will discuss in the Gita. But according to this purport, what is Avyakta?
The unmanifested stage is called Avyakta. Again, when the universe is vanquished at the end of Brahma's lifetime, there's another Avyakta state.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone understand this? Because I know sometimes, I mean, I can fully understand. Some people are not into technical stuff. This is a bit figures and cosmogony. Personally, I love it, but I mean, I can understand people are maybe a little slow in understanding these things. But just like, you know, I'm not good in cooking, for instance. So I can, when it comes to cooking, I'm slow also. So everyone has his own, you know, forte and weaknesses. Everything is clear. Avyakta means non-manifested. So practically speaking, the time we are Jiva, remember, we are Jiva souls. We are much more often unmanifested than manifested. Let's put it this way. Do you understand? First of all, at the end of the kalpa, Brahma is going to go to sleep. We have, it's not mentioned here, but we know, you guys answered correctly. Practically all the planets are submerged in water. And in the upper planets, they have to move up to even higher realms in order not to be drowned into waters. You're talking about Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok. They have to move all the way to Brahmalok. Brahmalok obviously is not flooded. And then he goes to sleep. So we are Avyakta in that interim. We are Avyakta. Not, I mean, it's a long time. How long will it last? 4 billion point 34 years. And the big one, the big Avyakta, is at the end of Pralaya. Pralaya means in Sanskrit devastation. So there's different types of Pralaya. All these things are explained in the 12th canto. There's 4 types of Pralaya. But here we are referring to 2 only. One at the end of the Kalpa. We are Avyakta. And next morning when Brahma is going to wake up, is going to again, it's called Visarga in Sanskrit. That's called secondary creation. Is going to again rebuild practically 90% of the universe. His planet is untouched, obviously. But he's going to rebuild, and again, he's going to place the particular jeeves where they belong. According to how they want to enjoy, he will place them accordingly in his universe. That universe belongs to him. And the big Avyakta, which is enormous, is when Brahma leaves his body. It's called Mahapralaya. The big dissolution. So then what happens? The universe becomes dissolved. Anantashesh will launch a flame which will consume entirely the universe. And then where are we going? For those of us who are not liberated as yet, we will go back within the abdomen of Mahavishnu. And we will remain there for eons of years. So actually, if we balance it out, much more often we are avyakta, more than vyakta, period. So that's why, again, that's another impetus for us to get cracking, to get moving, and to become Krishna conscious. Krishna is, it's like opening the show. Okay, the show is going on. Please take advantage. And otherwise, show is over. I retract. I withdraw everything within my nature. It's called Nirodha. Everything is withdrawn in.
So, Prabhu, at the time of devastation, one day of Brahma, as a living entity, is that us? We became and manifest. Then we get manifested again when do we get remanifest?
Oh, okay. When Lord Brahma leaves his body?
Okay.
So your question is, where do we go after Lord Brahma has left his body?
No. In one day of Brahma, there's devastation. You say there's two kinds of devastation. One day of Brahma, the devastation, then the living entities become and manifest.
True.
So when do they become manifest again?
When he wakes up.
Okay.
When he wakes up, he has to rebuild practically entirely, 90% of it, the universe. And again, he has to place so we are at this stage, it's called Chit Kana. Kana means particle. Chit. We are particle of Chit Shakti. So, the Christians are right when they say we are particles of spirit. They're absolutely right on this one. So Brahma, that is his job, Visarga, is going to place each and every soul within the right planet, within the right position in the universe, the right species of life. There's 8.4 million species of life. So it's a big job. And it's being helped out by Prajapati. His direct sons, they're called Manasa Putra. Brahma is so powerful, he can create Manasa from his mind. Can you imagine? Brahma doesn't need a woman. He's married, but in the beginning of creation, he just creates out of his mind. This is the power of Brahma. And this is the first circle of living entities, the Prajapatis. They're extremely powerful living entities. They create races, the demigods, the reptiles, the humans, the spiders, on and on. It's a big job. It's a big job. They're called the progenitors, the Prajapatis. Does it answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yes.
Place the living entity according to their karma in different species.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now, what is the next question? What is the other Avyakta Sanatan nature? There's a verse, you guys found it nicely. I think perhaps you, Mataji, made a mistake. You quoted 8:18. It's 8:20. Yeah? What is it? This Avyakta. That's why Avyakta it's a very vast term. It can vary according to the context. So when we say Avyakta Sanatan, it's quite different now. It's no more Avyakta pertaining to this pralaya, devastation. No. What does 8:20 say?
I have it pulled up here. If I can read it.
Yeah.
The translation is, yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
Exactly. Is that clear for everyone? It's beyond those binary. It's a twofold. It's a two motion type of material nature is binary. Vyakta, avyakta, vyakta, avyakta. That's binary. But beyond is the paravyom. Paravyom in Sanskrit means the spiritual sky. It's totally beyond. Just like the sky, even the sun, maybe minus 30 down here, in Canada, whatever, and you don't see the sky, you don't see the sun, sorry. You are covered over for months on end. That doesn't affect the sun. The sun is always there, whether it's minus 40 on Earth in Alaska, or, who cares? The sun is bright, always bright. It's beyond the clouds, beyond the cold. The sun is always there, not only for us, for the whole universe. Okay. Okay, now next, Ekapad Vibhuti, Tripad Vibhuti. That's quite straightforward. You answered quite properly on this one. Why do we undergo? Oh, thank you. Actually, you rectified me, Jacob. I had used undertake, which is not proper. Undergo would be better. Why do we undergo Dehantara Prapti? That's 213. We change the body. Why? You answered also, all of you, quite nicely. I just put one word, Purushabhiman. You know this term in Sanskrit? This is the greatness of Sanskrit. Sanskrit in one word, it encapsulates many, many sentences. So what is that word? Purushabhiman. Finish. Purushabhiman, you can give with one word, I can tell you, okay, write an essay on Purushabhiman. You can write 5 pages. Purushabhiman. Purushabhiman.
Is it Abhiman?
Purushabhiman means the enjoying spirit. Purush means enjoy. Abhiman means desire. So it goes in English, enjoying spirit. He's got, this person, have you seen, he's got an enjoying, he likes to enjoy. He's always trying to gratify his senses. So that's not the only reason why we change the body. Because we have this enjoying spirit. And Krishna is very kind. Via the medium of the demigods, he provides us, just like a father. The boy is wayward, and the father will tell him, be careful, that doesn't look good to me. The boy insists, okay, go for it. So in the same way, we have this enjoying spirit. We are revolving from one body to the next. Krishna provides, not himself, he's aloof, via the medium of Prakriti. Prakriti means the modes, the demigods. Kamana Deva Netrena. At the time of death, who is doing the job? Not us. Kamana Deva Netrena. Our destiny is within the hands of demigods. Kamana Deva, the demigods. That's their job. Where are they going? Where is he going? Where is she going? Let's meet. They do it very rapidly. Sometimes they have to ponder a little bit, but that's their job. The demigods do that. We have no say. Of course, we are trying to be devotees ourselves, so we fall into a different, luckily, we fall into a different category. As soon as you're a devotee, you are under the purview of Lord Krishna, which is better. But he's going to test us. He wants to make sure we are ready. Okay. Stop me if you need to go further on a particular angle. So again, similar story. All these purpose 14, even before restlessness. We're talking about I would say the focus of learning. I call it like this, FOL, F-O-L, focus of learning. And when you prepare a class, try to see what Prabhupada is trying to drive at. What is his intent? What is the focus of learning? What should I understand? What should I convey to others? Restlessness is there. At the end of the day, what should we do? You came up with the right answer. The quicker, the better. The quicker we surrender, the more we'll be protected. But Krishna cannot force us to surrender. It's love. If he were forcing us, then there will be no love. Madhav Seva, Manav Seva. That's a big one. Madhav Seva, Manav Seva. Someone would like to share?
So I understood it as the Madhav Seva is the eternal work where we align ourselves with God's flow and offer ourselves as like his vessel to be used as how he likes to. And the Manhava Seva is the examples in the Shri Isopanishad where it said people open up hospitals and do like all this, good stuff, but it's not out of devotion or spiritual education. So it's kind of like, what's the purpose? Just to relieve temporarily stuff that's happening. It's not actually eternal relief.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the devil's advocate, and I will say, well, at least I'm doing good. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong in doing good to others? I mean, that's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Go ahead, Golokananda Priya.
go ahead, Soren.
No, please.
What was gonna say?
I want to hear it. I don't know what to say.
I mean, you want me to be a bad boy? I mean,
No.
I mean, the church and everyone around me is praising me. I mean, not only me, but my people. We have been
It's
opening
not
5
wrong to
hospitals.
serve humanity, but just serving humanity, you cannot free them from birth, death, and old age.
Okay.
And if you serve humanity just to cure the temporary disease or open hospital just to cure the temporary and give them food when they're hungry, or that will cure the immediate suffering, but permanently you cannot cure the suffering.
Yeah, very good. And of course, this question is tied in with 15. What's wrong with Manava Seva? There's a very, very powerful sentence in this purport of 14. Some of you picked it up. Extremely powerful sentence. Srila Prabhupada says, Seva. Seva means service, rendered to the sense object. Tanmatra. Tanmatra means sense object. Is both misleading and degrading. That's a very heavy sentence. Prabhupada is, especially in the Shri show, it can be extremely forceful, extremely radical.
Where was that one?
In 14, let me find it for you.
I think because I have the old version, so I might be in a different
Yeah,
spot.
I have it here. It's my edition. I don't know if it rings a bell. 107. Yes, the full sentence is practically at the end of, not beginning. No, actually, it's not the end of 14. Sorry, it's middle of 14. People are often misguided by temporary attractive things based on sense gratification, but service rendered to the sense objects is both misleading and degrading.
Thank you.
It's quite heavy. It's a very heavy sentence. When you look at this sentence, man, Prabhupada is so heavy, so heavy. Because, you may say, what's wrong? In one sense, do I serve my sense objects? Other sense objects when I open an hospital. Let's go into that. It's a good theological discussion. In what way, sir, do I become misguided by opening an hospital? On what basis is it connected to sense gratification?
Because you're trying to become deathless. You're trying to, in a sense, preserve your material body rather than accepting that it is temporary.
Yes, that's a good argument. I can think of another one though. Anyone else would like to add up to Sorel's? People
on,
may
Jakob.
say like that. They're in the mode of
I think
goodness,
it's
you know.
important to help people if they're, have bodily pain, as that is not enough, You
Yeah.
have to give them something more to make, give them, make them understand that there's a soul and what
Yeah.
is the human life is meant for, in order to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but-
another consideration, which is a karmic consideration, you're opening hospitals, well and good, but this will not prevent you from taking birth again.
it's like
And
treating
no
the
doubt,
sick-
you're going to take birth in, just like Gita says, chapter 14, 17. You become a good person, you mode of goodness, maturely. So you'll take higher birth. It's also a mixture of goodness and passion, because perhaps it's for self-aggrandizement. You want to be a good person, respected as a good person. They will put your statue in front of the hospital, perhaps. But again, that's well and good, but this will not prevent you from taking birth. So ultimately, it's according to Mahaprabhu, it's a fault. It's wrong, because taking birth is in and of itself extremely degrading. We have to call a spade a spade. Huh? And even Mahaprabhu goes very far in the CC. He says, whatever falls short of pure devotional service is bad. So, of course, the bar is very high. Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's Ashubh. Ashubh means inauspicious. The very fact that you have to take birth again is inauspicious, even to reap good results. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, chanting Hare Krishna is by far better than opening thousands of hospitals. I mean, that's heavy also. People will see, you have to understand, Buddhajan Prabhu used to tell us all the time, Srila Prabhupada is not politically correct.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada is not politically correct, because he will go against the grain of many people. Many. This is transcendental. This is transcendence in action.
Is that why I'm telling you? We cannot go and tell people, okay, just service to your senses is degrading and misleading. We cannot go and tell like Prabhupada, use Prabhupada words.
Yes.
If you want to preach to people.
We have to can be quote this sentence with little pampering here and there. But Prabhupada is very straightforward in Shri. Remember, he wrote that book long back, way before ISKCON. He wrote that book in 1960. That's 60 years ago, before ISKCON. Not even he wrote that book in India. And, Prabhupada was heavy. This is pure devotee. He's cutting through Maya with a sword. He doesn't joke. Of course, we have to adjust, but we should not dilute the message.
How would you say to somebody you say you need to dilute it?
Well,
how would you?
I would say, my dear friend, as soon as you are in contact with this material nature, you and me, you put yourself in the same shoe, same bag, because otherwise it becomes arrogant. We're in the same bag. As soon as you contact this nature, my dear friend, we are bound to awaken, revive this Purusha Bhiman, this enjoying spirit. By the very fact that we contacted nature means you have to explain modes of nature, three modes, goodness, passion. We become entangled. And you may be very well situated in goodness, okay, but still there's a little passion mixed here and there, and ignorance also. So that itself will force you to come back. Even if you are in pure goodness is okay, but pure goodness is only accessible through Krishna consciousness. You might as well practice now, because it will separate you from taking birth again. And if you want to give, charity begins at home. So if you want to help others, help yourself first, then you help others. So your propensity to help others is legitimate, fine. But first find out who you are and who are others, and get yourself out of this, this mire of nescience. Get yourself out, at least to some extent, and then accordingly you can help others. Otherwise, it's like, a blind leading another blind person. Sooner or later, you'll fall into the ditch. I mean, that's all I would say, And you put yourself in the center, in the center in the sense that, I'm also trying myself to come out. I'm on the same boat, And I can feel that, yes, I'm less entangled. Anyway. Okay, so what's the purpose of the Vedic scheme? The whole purpose of Vedic scheme is, in Sanskrit we say, savidya iya vimuktaye. The whole purpose is to vimukti, to free ourselves from this world, to go back to spiritual world. Savidya, vidya means knowledge. Savidya iya vimuktaye. Vimukti means liberation. The purpose of knowledge is to come out. But where? Spiritual world. Sambhuti amritam, the dazzler's kingdom of God. And then, Prabhupada, you have seen the last sentence, last paragraph. Whether we like it or not, the truth is there. Prabhupada is heavy. I'm always, I'm always impressed. I'm always flabbergasted, I would say, by Prabhupada, because, he doesn't joke. Prabhupada doesn't joke. It's heavy. Sadhu means heavy. Heavy. But it's not against you, against me. It's heavy in the sense it's really cutting, cutting through your ignorance, my ignorance. Out of compassion. This is compassion. Jesus Christ used to say, remember, those who follow me will have to separate from their peers, from their kith and kin, from their parents, from their sisters, from their brothers. He said that. The Christ said that. It was because he said, yes, it's going to be, you have to forego everything else, just follow me. So Prabhupada is like that also. Okay, let's move on to 15, unless you guys have some query on 14.
Maybe a break.
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Thank you to remind me.
You asked me, yeah.
Yeah, a little break. Okay. Okay, 5 minutes if you want.
Okay.
So what's your service like, Jacob?
What do you mean service?
You have
Like seva. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lately, the temple here in Tucson had COVID going around.
Oh.
And so we kind of have been staying away from the temple itself, but there are some new developments. A friend of ours, a couple friends of ours, are initiated devotees, and they're opening like a small yoga studio.
Okay.
And we're going to start holding programs there that are
Right.
kind of just more, I guess, a modernized approach, to Krishna consciousness, and
Yeah.
trying to reach people that might not end up in temples for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah, sure. Like the loft preaching in New Zealand or Australia, a bit like Devamrit Maharaj, you know him?
From New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Loft program.
Hmm.
He has
Yeah,
great success there.
and you know, the Bhakti Center.
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah, it seems to kind of be. We're also very inspired by Tukram Prabhu from Southern California,
Okay.
and he has a bridge program there in Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, and so a group of devotees, including Sorel here, and a few of our close friends are going to be doing kind of a program, and we're excited to share the knowledge that we've been learning with you too.
Yeah. I mean, this is the way to go. You know, it's gonna change drastically. I mean, when I joined, it was mostly a temple-based individuals. You know,
Mhm.
and now it has changed practically and totally opposite to that.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to kind of play both both teams, so to speak, you know, and to reach uh, both people who are attracted to temple lifestyle and to living in an ashram setting, and also to you know, lay devotees, I guess you could say, and people that may never step foot in a temple, you know,
Yeah, of
um,
course. Yeah.
and
No, I can relate to that. I mean, things are changing. For me, when I've been trying both in my life in 35 years, temple life, outside. For me, I function better as a temple devotee, to be honest. But I mean, you know, I'm an old guy, so it's easier. I find it easier.
yeah,
But again, you know, I can understand. I mean, now the use is quite different. So, you know,
no, I can definitely see that though, that it is um, it's better to stay focused, you know, in a temple setting. You know, it's not a lot less distraction.
yeah, I mean, for me, you know, but I know devotees who have been living, then never been in a temple. They're quite fixed up. So, you know, there's no hard and fast rules, basically.
Yeah, I love that I'm able to, you know, do what I do in my day-to-day life. I'm a gardener,
Good.
and I'm able to, you know, utilize my, you know, the money that I make and to support preaching and also to have like a little temple in my house, you know, and able to still engage with Krishna consciousness, maybe not in a monastic way, you know,
Yeah,
but
it's okay. It's okay, you know. But you mean doing others gardening, gardens?
yeah, I work for a couple that have an estate here in town,
Okay.
and they have pretty extensive landscaping,
Okay.
and so I take care of a couple of their properties
That's good.
for them.
There's
Yeah.
one devotee here, Madan Gopal, is doing the same. He's from Denmark.
Hmm.
He settled around here. He's got a truck and he goes around and fixes up gardens and he makes good money also. And he
Good.
grows and he grows others food. I mean, food for others, and you know.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's kind of my goal eventually, you know, to
Yeah,
have like
you can even encourage people to become veg. You know, I mean, it's a good way to preach also.
yeah, absolutely. Very sattvic.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so let's get into 15. Jacob, would you like to read perhaps the Sanskrit of 15?
Sure. One moment. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya hitam mukham tatvam hushan apavrinu satyam dharmaya dristaye.
Great. Go ahead, the translation.
Okay. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee.
Yeah, so here, the first question, no one picked it up. I guess this is a fact. You guys don't read the manual. I mean, it's right there in the manual. If you look at your overview of the Shri show overview, it's right there. Just pick, cut and paste, finish. You don't read the manual at all. It's amazing. And because we are entering into a new subsection. So it's from 15 onwards, it's prayers for revelation of the Lord's spiritual form and mercy at the time of death. So we discussed 12 through 14.
I have the manual.
Sorry?
Not been sent to me.
Yes, Goloka?
Yeah, the manual, I don't see it in my file.
Oh, but you should have told me long ago. I can resend it to you. You lost it or something?
Okay.
Okay, I'll send. Okay, let me write it down for you. After the class, I'll send you. I try it because the manual is quite helpful. It's well done. Huh? Browse through it and it. Goloka manual. Okay. So here, 15. We discussed. We just finished 12 through 14. Discussed about the necessity of understanding Krishna in relationship with his material energies. We discussed Sambhuti, Asambhuti. And now we're entering 15. We must understand also how Krishna relates with his Brahmajyoti. It's important. How can we relate to him through his Brahmajyoti? Because many people on that level. And 16, 17, basically 16 is continuation. We want him to reveal his form. Hiranmayana Patrana Satyasya Pita Mukham. Mukham means face, Mukh. And Brahman has no face. So the devotee is not bedazzled, is not bewildered. I want to see further Krishna. Hiranmayana Patrana Satyasya Pita Mukham. And then 17, 18, we are getting close. It's a fact. We are getting close to death. So how to understand Krishna at the time of death? How to remember him? How to achieve his mercy? It's a beautiful book, Shri. So it takes you all the way through life and death. How to get his mercy? It's beautiful. Okay, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Someone wants to step into that?
I can do it just like, I went into it in more detail, but I can quickly summarize that. The Brahman realization is the perception of the absolute truth with no potency. The Paramatma realization is perception of the absolute truth with material potency. And then the Bhagavan realization is obviously both of those, because that's the highest.
Very good. Anyone would like to add up to that?
Brahman is the body rays of the self which are effulgence that pervades everywhere.
Yes.
Of the body of Krishna. And Paramatma is the Lord that reside in every living entity's heart. And Bhagavan is a full personal feature of the Lord, consists of the 6 opulences.
Very good. So first of all, I'm going to go a little bit outside Shri. It doesn't matter because it's all one. Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 11. Vadanti tat vavidas tatmat sadvayam agyayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyati. So 1 to 11, Sutta Goswami is saying that the erudite scholars, they have concluded that this Advaya Gyan is very important. Advaya Gyan is one. Advaya. Advaya means you cannot cut it. You cannot dissect the absolute truth. There's 3 absolute truths. No, it's Advaya Gyan. You cannot dissect it. From the perception of the student, it can be understood in terms of Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, but it's one. It's one. Actually, Mahaprabhu, he told Sabhamama Bhattacharya, what does he say? Brahma Shabde Kahe Purna Swayam Bhagwan. Swayam Bhagwan Krishna Shastrira Praman. He says, the word Brahman means Krishna. Of course, you may say, well, it's CC, it's not Shri. CC is postgraduate study, I know. But it indicates the complete personality of Godhead, supreme. That's the verdict of all Vedic literature. So all this to say that absolute truth is one. But from the perception of the student, it may vary. You understand? Is it clear? Now, look at the today purport at 15. Srila Prabhupada quotes the 10th canto. Did you notice? At verse 10, 12, 11. In the purport. Itam satam brahma sukanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradevatena maya shritanam naradara kena sakam vijaru krita punya punya. Very interesting. The personality of Godhead, who is perceived as the impersonal blissful Brahman by the Gyanis. So the very same person, Lord Krishna, is going to be understood differently by the Gyanis. Krishna is, for them it's the Brahman. For devotees, is the Supreme Lord. So they're in the mood of dasya, servitude. And for materialists, you go in the street, you say Krishna. Oh yeah, no, he's a great Indian historical figure at best. But for Krita Punya Punya, for the gopas, for the cowboys, is one of them. They're so advanced. Krita Punya Punya, they have undergone millions of lives of pious deeds. And they play with Krishna just like my boy is playing with his friends in the school courtyard. They're so advanced. So the very same person, we're talking about the same person, is going to be fathomed differently. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, or just an historical figure. It's the same person, but from the perspective of the student, it differs, it varies. Is it clear? I don't want to, don't hear anything. So is it clear, or should I go for, should I move on? Or if it's not clear, we can stop. Huh?
Clear to me.
Clear to you, okay. And Kusukumari?
I mean, that part is clear. I just had a question that came up yesterday when I went through it.
Yeah.
This is more, it's in the beginning, the sentence, Brahman is the aspect most easily perceived by the beginner. And for me, it's this, I have come to like in the last years, what interests me is like how to perceive things and not just read it and try to understand it, but to perceive it. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm a beginner. So then have I perceived Brahman, or have I missed something? Or like, is it because we are so focused on Krishna that like realizing Brahman is like something we could do, but we don't really get into? I'm a bit confused there.
Yeah, as I said, perception. For us, we are aspiring devotees. Whichever aspect of the absolute truth we hear about, even from other religions, we remain fixed up on Krishna. We're talking about Brahman, okay? It's all-pervading feature. Well, that's Krishna. That's one aspect of Krishna, but we are not being bulged from, we are not being disturbed or bulged an inch from our focus. We know it's Krishna. We always bring it back to Krishna, you know. Like for me, for instance, I'll tell you my experience. As I study Shastra and teach and practice, I understand more and more that I'm eternal. Satchit Anand Vigraha. So Brahman is the first aspect, sad. I understand very deeply now that I'm eternal. And I go through life, but I've understood that I'm just meeting people, even my family, my friends, my wife, my kid. I'm just passing through their lives, they're passing through mine, but I'm moving on towards Krishna. So I'm just navigating through Brahman towards Krishna, because Savam Kavidam Brahma, everything is Brahman. What is Brahman? 1427, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the source of Brahman. The all-pervading light feature, the light feature of the body of God, this is Brahman. Prabhupada used to say, why the sky is blue? Because Krishna is blue. Amazing. Sky is blue. Today is quite a beautiful day. We're August. It's quite hot. A little overcast, but not much. So when you understand you are eternal, it's a great sort of bliss. I mean, we are eternal. We don't die. We don't die. Our body is always dead. So we are moving on through Brahman. Brahman, what does it mean? Just like we are in the spiritual world. If you take this room, of course, you don't see my room. There's 4 corners like your room. There's a little corner like here in my room. Just imagine, my room is pretty clean, but there had been a cobweb there in that corner up there. Cobweb, very dirty, very thick cobweb. There may be living entities behind the cobweb, small particles, some amoeba, insects living behind. So in the same way, we are in the spiritual world, but we are cornered in a little tiny portion of the spiritual world. Ekapat vibhuti. Why don't we see Brahman? Why don't we see the light? Because Mahatatwa. Mahatatwa is closing us from seeing the light. And what is the perception of Brahman? How can we see Brahman? Sun. Why do you see the sun is so bright? The sun reflects off Brahman. And that reflection moves on to the moon. There is no moon, there is no sun in this universe. It's pitch dark. You die. So why is the sun glowing bright? Because it reflects off the Brahman. Then it reflects off again on the moon. This is Brahman. We are in the spiritual world. We are being blocked from this Iran Maya. Iran Maya means this dazzling effulgence. We cannot even, won't be able to even to, we cannot even look at the sun. You know that. What to speak of Brahman? So Mahatattva is so thick. You take this. Okay, I'll give you an example. What is the diameter of this universe where we live in? What is the diameter? Of course, it's not inch ratio, I know. 4 billion miles diameter. Smallest universe. Then you, beyond this universe, you find layers of matter. You know them: earth, water, fire, ether, ego. They are 10 times thicker than our diameter. So 4 billion miles, 40 billion miles, 400 billion, 4,000 billion, 40,000 billion, you understand? In other words, the habitable portion of the universe is extremely tiny. Extremely tiny. Plus, we live in the upper part of the universe. Below is Garbhodakasha ocean. So again, we are being blocked off the light because we are behind the cobweb. We are totally blocked within the Mahatattva. But technically speaking, we are in the spiritual world. We are just like if I had a cobweb here up here in the corner, cobweb is within the room. Yes, technically. Same here. That's Brahman. If you understand this concept, that's Brahman.
Thank you very much.
Plus, you understand you're not going to die. Body is dead. In Latin, you say animus. Animus in Latin means to animate. What's animating the body? The soul. Body is dead. It's always dead. It's like my table. It's like my computer. I'm looking at the computer is dead. It's dead matter. And there is electricity, electronics that makes it animated. I can see you. Body is being animated by the soul, the consciousness. Otherwise, it's dead matter. So that itself should give you, it's a source of joy. I'm eternal. I'm eternal. That's in it, in and of itself is great bliss.
Thank you
Does it help?
very much. So
Okay. Then, does Krishna leave Vrindavan or not? That's being addressed in the purport. Does he leave Vrindavan or not?
No, he never leaves Vrindavan.
Yeah, very good. Please explain.
Yeah, so I'll just read out my answer here. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan as he's eternally situated in his pastimes with the inhabitants of Vrindavan. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13:14 through 18, Krishna delegates the activities by which the universe is sustained to Super Soul, who is subordinate to him, and therefore he's able to simultaneously the universe and engage in his pastimes. And he also, in the Gita, I'm not sure which verse, but he says that he sustains the universe, with a spark of his splendor, and so he is able to because he's God, and he has infinite potency, he's able to both be engaging in his pastimes as well as delegating, the universe, the maintenance of the universe.
Exactly. Jiva Goswami explained, unless and until we accept the Achintya Shakti of the Lord, the concept of Godhead is useless. Achintya Shakti means inconceivable Shaktis. Everything is done. Parasya Shakti Vivideva Shruyate Svabhaviki Gyanabala Kriyacha. Everything is done by dint of his energies. Parasya, multifarious. He himself, Goloka Nivasati Akilatma Bhuta, is playing in Golok. Is reveling in pastimes of love. Like he said, Prabhu, delegating. Just like a big guy, big Bill Gates, whoever, delegates. It's quite simple to understand. Mm-hmm. But technically, it never leaves. As soon you may say, well, is in Dwarka, is in Mathura, So please reconcile these things. What do you say?
The Acharya said that these are expansion of Krishna, the Vishnu.
Very good. And remember, if you've been to Vrindavan, there's one place, Akrura Ghats. When Akrura is taking Lord Krishna and Balaram to Mathura to fight with in the arena with the demons, the wrestlers. This place, Akuraghat, Lord Krishna and Balaram stepped down from the chariot, took their bath. Akura was practically mad when he saw the footprints of Lord Krishna. And when they got back in the chariot, it was no more Shama Sundar Yashodanandan Krishna. First expansion of Krishna is called Vasudev Krishna. And Balaram, first expansion, Shatuvyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. It was Sankarshan. They look the same. Prabhav. Krishna has many types of incarnation. They're all Vishnu Tattva. But he himself, Yashodanandan, Nandan, never leaves, never steps out 1 foot. Okay, it's quite straightforward. Explain the 3 Purush avatars. I think you did a pretty good job, all of you. Ideally, it would have been good to repeat the words of Prabhupada from 15. I think Vignesh did a very good job on this one. Vignesh is quite extremely, yeah. So the Purush avatars, let's see what he said. What's his name? Vignesh. Anyway, I don't want to make him speak. He didn't come. So, well, he had some last minute problem. So he's being apologized. He's apologized. Okay, so 15. You want to discuss about the 3 Purush avatars? Page 113. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Is it clear or not? I mean, I can do the talking, but you should be talking actually.
I am holding back from talking because I feel like I keep talking so much. There's Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the all-pervading Paramatma, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, the collective supersoul of all living entities, and Karanodakashayi Vishnu, the creator of all universes, who lies beyond the causal ocean. Excellent.
So they are Vishnu Tattva, but they are part of Sarga, the primary creation. They only take care of the material creation. They are called Kala in Sanskrit. Kala means expansion of expansion of expansion of expansion. I mean, you know how it goes, huh? Krishna, then Shatuvyuha, Vasudev is Krishna, Shankarshan is Balaram. Okay, then that's Dwarka, okay? Then down to, this is first Shatuvyuha. It's called Mul Shatuvyuha. Mul means root, okay? Dwarka. Then again, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna is first son of Krishna, remember? Then the first son of Pradyumna is Aniruddha, grandson. Aniruddha is grandson of Krishna. First Shatuvyuha, Vishnu Tattva, Mul. Then from this Shankarshan with original Balaram, there is Lord Narayan. Okay? Lord Narayan is going to predominate in each and every Vaikuntha Lok. He's got a particular name, Janardhan, Ayagriv, and again, he's got 4 symbols, you know them, and he's surrounded by a second set of Shatuvyuha revolving around him. From the second set of Shatuvyuha, also Vishnu Tattva, they're all God, they're all expansions of God. They're not Jiv. From that second set of Shatuvyuha, from this Mahasankarshan, it's called the second set, is called Mahasankarshan. Then there is Karanadakashayi, Mahavishnu. Then second, Garbhodakashayi. Third, Kshirodakashaya. So you can see this Sri Vishnu, Purusha Avatar, they are way down in terms of expansion. Doesn't mean they are less, be careful. It's like the bulb, you know, from one candle, you light up a second candle, third candle, 1 million candle. They differ perhaps in potency, okay, like a bulb, but still they pertain to the same category, Vishnu Tattva. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Next, because we are running late. Alors, I made a mistake in the next question. How are we impacted by Brahman? I wrote Brahma, my mistake. Down here in this material world. Many of you answered properly. That supreme Brahman effulgence spreads throughout both material and spiritual skies. Yes, I told you the example of the spider, the cobweb, right? Savam Kavinam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Everything rests on Brahman. That's amazing. The spiritual world rests on Brahman. The material world rests on Brahman. Okay? Everything rests on Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahmano hi pratishtaham. This is the dazzling effulgence of the Lord's body. So in other words, there's only Krishna. If we really boil it down to what it is, there's only Krishna. At work with his energies, and we are energy. We are all feminine. We are all Prakriti. Subservient is the only male, Purush Uttam. So in one sense, we are a bit of being lesbians in one sense. Lesbian means a woman enjoys another woman. We are Shakti, Paraprakriti. We are meant to be enjoyed by Purush, Purush Uttam, supreme male. No, we say no, we want to enjoy another Shakti. That's called lesbian in English. I mean, I'm trying to be maybe a little crude, but philosophically, I'm right.
Yeah.
That's not normal. It's not normal. Prabhupada say we are meant to be enjoyed by God. It's a very, very precise sentence. It means we are meant to be enjoyed by Him. Okay, next. We're coming to the end.
Vendra, did you answer? Did you answer already? Because my phone, I lost my internet for a second there. Did you guys go over the number 4? Why does this mantra ask for the removal of the Haran Maya Patra? Did I miss that part?
I skipped it. Sorry, I skipped it. Sorry, it's my mistake. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, you answered to that question then. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was saying that the mantra asks for the removal of the Haran Maya Patra because the pure devotee goes beyond the materialistic plane, and so the impersonalist will stop at understanding just they cannot understand his effulgence because it's like too bright, but the pure devotee has to like penetrate it said beyond the 24 material elements and the glaring effulgence as well. And if this covering isn't removed, then you can't go into the Bhagavan realization. So that's why you want to remove it. And I use the example that is used a lot about you can only see the sun rays and not the sun, and so you want to go to the next step.
Yeah, exactly. We're not bewildered, you know. We know we Shastra Shakshu means by dint of Shastra we know we want to go further. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, he said that only the devotee has the audacity to ask further, because he explains that the bliss pertaining to Brahman, is called Brahmanand, is so thick, it takes billions of years to get over it. Just imagine you end up in a place, there is no anxiety, you don't have any mental anguish, nothing. There is nothing to bother you mentally. This is pure bliss. It's called Brahmanand. And to get over that feeling, that bliss, it takes millions of years. I'm talking about it, but I don't know what it is. That is why Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explained, only when you're on the level of Bhav Bhakti can you experience Moksha Laguta Krit. Moksha Laguta Krit means what? You are deriding the bliss of liberation. These devotees are so high, Rupa Goswami and others. Only they can deride the bliss of liberation, Brahmanand. If we were now, on puny level now, if we were confronted to the bliss of liberation, the bliss of Brahman, we will love Krishna consciousness right away. It's so powerful. So we may say, well, we are very advanced. Brahmanand is for little boys and girls. We cannot say that unless and until we are on the level of Bhav Bhakti. Because we don't know what it is like to be free from this material world. We don't know. We forgot. We may have been free, nirgun, but we forgot. So, and then Rupa Goswami, he adds up a drop of Krishnanand, not Brahmanand, Krishnanand, can drown the whole ocean of Brahmanand. These are just words because we don't know what is Krishnanand. We don't know what is Brahmanand. We are repeating Shastra. But, unless and until we let go of this petty sense pleasure down here, there's no question we can access. Even though we were quoting the whole Gita and the whole Srimad Bhagavatam by heart, doesn't matter. It takes advancement. It takes advancement to fully understand, to fully realize. But she's right, Sorel. Yes, we don't become stuck behind the rays, behind the curtain of this Iran Maya. We want to go further. We want to, because at least one thing we have understood in Krishna consciousness, that it's based on sambandha. Sambandha means relationship. So because of that relationship with Krishna, we don't want to break that. We don't want to lose this relationship. Because in Brahman, they are living entities, but they have no relationship with Krishna. They cannot exercise their propensity for action. You understand? So sooner or later, it may take billions of years. Sooner or later, they're going to want to exercise their Chaitanya. Chaitanya means active consciousness. They want to do something. So they come back down in this world, And great sadhus, Sai Baba, opening, they have 40 million disciples, Sai Baba. 40 million. You understand? 40 million disciples. Opening tons of hospitals. But who are these people? They are just fallen patantyadaha, Yushmat Angrayi, means they haven't taken hold of the feet of Lord Krishna. They don't know. So because of that, patantyadaha, they fall down. Perhaps it takes millions of years, yes, but still they fall down. And again, the exercise done here, great, extremely charismatic. Pure, totally pure. But still, remember Isopanishad 9. Andam tama pravishanti yevidyam upasate tato bhuyevate tamo yeho vidyadam rataha. Those who are in the mode of ignorance, they go down, but worse will be the fate of those who cultivate, who fool others in the name of knowledge. So for us, we're not so much, we are just okay, we understand intellectually, but Krishna is very kind. He will lift up the veil for us. Let's finish it off. We're almost finished. Then last point on Mayavadisms. Okay, Sukumari, your turn. Did you come across any good
7.
arguments in 15? There's one powerful argument.
Mm-hmm. I looked up the Sanskrit that you gave up because it was not in the Isopanishad itself.
Okay.
It means everything is Brahman. So I have to read it here quickly. Okay. The thing was that Prabhupada, like we just discussed, how he says that like Brahman is present in spiritual world and the material world, that it's a foundational energy. But the Mayavadis then, here comes the point, I think. The Mayavadis say that this material world is just an illusion and it doesn't really exist. So I would say...
No, but I was expecting something from the purport. There's perhaps someone else can come up with. Sorel, did you pick up? There's some Mayavadi arguments to defeat Mayavadism given by Shri Prabhupada in 15. Did you come up? Did you see? It's right there at the end.
Another question that I just talked about was about how since they have no knowledge of the potencies of the Supreme. What happened?
Who is speaking?
That was me. I was saying that since the Mayavadis have no knowledge of the potencies of the Supreme Lord, will only realize him impersonally, meaning that they will not be able to remove the Haran Maya Patra because of being bewildered by the Brahmajyoti. That's what I said.
Yeah, okay, you say that. But there's even a more precise quote by Srila Prabhupada in 15. I mean, am I the only one? Have I a different purport than you? I mean,
you have a different one than me.
Srila Vyasadeva, it starts like this. Srila Vyasadeva never states that. It's a very powerful argument. You should definitely scan the purport scrutinizingly.
I think, I mean, I got that. I'm reading it right now, but I took from the question, that quote, the Sanskrit quote that you gave us, and I just took it like from Brahman. And
which quote did I give you?
I think the
Sarvam Kalav Idam
Yeah,
Brahma.
that's Sarvam Kalav Idam Brahma means that Brahman is all pervading. That's what.
Yeah, so I took that part where Prabhupada discusses how the Brahman is reflected into the material world and how like Brahman is pervading everything. I took that one.
Yeah, but I was expecting the one in the purple straight, Srila Vyasadeva, can you see? Someone can read out?
Yeah. I just didn't connect the two. Sorry.
In other words, the Jeev cannot be considered Krishna, because why is he asking question? Why is he asking for removal then? If he's Krishna, if he's God himself. That's a very powerful point.
I found it particularly interesting because I looked up a commentary on the Shri Isopanishad from Shankaracharya.
Yeah.
And I just found it interesting because there's no attempt to explain that. The conclusion is still, that we are all one, but yet this Shri Isopanishad that's part of the Yajurveda that the Mayavadis accept as Shruti they are still, using this this text as proof of their philosophy, but it's very clearly saying that
It's groundless.
they're very clearly saying that you need to pray to God for the removal of the Hiranmaya Patya. And
Yeah.
there's no attempt to explain that.
Of course not. And of course, Shankar means Shiv. There's two verses in Padma Puran. Mayavadam asat shastram prachanam bodhamuchyate mayeva vihitam devi kalo brahmanamurtina. Can you imagine? This is Lord Shiva speaking to his wife. What does he say? In the age of Kali, I take the form of a Brahmin and explain the Vedas through 4 scriptures in an atheistic way, similar to Buddhist philosophy. He has been ordered by Lord Vishnu, you please bewilder further the materialist. It's not finished. What does he say? Svagame kilpites tuamcha jananma vimukan kuru mamcha gopaya yena syat shrishti esho taro tara. This is Vishnu telling Lord Shiva now in Padma Puran. Please make the general populace averse to me by imagining your own interpretation of the Vedas. Also, cover me in such a way that people will take more interest in advancing material civilization, just to propagate a population bereft of spiritual knowledge. So we have to understand that Lord Shiva had to fulfill this order, even though he was not keen on doing so. But Lord Vishnu purposefully told him, you appear as a Brahmin. That's Shankar, 31 years of age. He left. And see how much he has impacted the world. In the 8th century, we are in the 21st century. Still today, if you go to South India, people are rolling in his philosophy. So much he was empowered. But I created a course, if you can take it also, Vaishnava theology. All this to pave the way. You find Lord Krishna, then there are 2 Buddhas, 2, not 1, 2. Then Jesus Christ, then Shankar, then Ramanuj, then Madhva, along with Nimbark, then Mahaprabhu. You have to understand how it's part of the same scheme. It's like building a house. Mahaprabhu came and it took 2 points on the previous, from each and every previous Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya, 2 points, and that 2 points per pillar. There's 4 pillars, that's 8 points, and then it put the rooftop on those 4 pillars. Achintya bed, abed. It's simultaneously and inconceivably one and different. We are simultaneously and inconceivably one with God, yes, qualitatively, but different quantitatively. This is the topmost philosophy. There's nothing higher than that. Achintya bed, abed. Mahaprabhu has reconciled all the apparent contradictions. This is the final, this is the Siddhant, the final conclusion. Srimad Bhagavatam. So, by the way, what about this debate? Mayavadis, I've got Vignesh, Jyotirmayi. Jyotirmayi kind of dropped out. I don't see her anymore. Sukumari. And then the other side, I've got Jacob and Sorel. So, and of course, Goloka, Nanda Priya. You want to be a Mayavad or Vaishnavi? Sukumari, you should do it. Don't pull out. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you could. So you can, we're only 5 of us. I mean, you want to let us in limbo,
I'm not
I mean,
going
come on, we
anywhere.
were like 12, 13, 15, I forgot how many of us, and now it's like, I don't know what's going on in this
Like
group.
14, I think.
14, and we're down to
14.
4 or 5. I mean, ridiculous. Okay, so we'll do that, we'll do like we'll pretty much to the end, 15, 16, 17, Chandra can do. Then I'll do 18 and the debate. Okay, so 2 weeks from now, we'll do 18 and the debate. Okay, so what I'll do, I want to know who is who, because I will send you quotes. I mean, in terms of Vaishnava philosophy, you guys are quite equipped, I would say. But in terms of Mayavadis, perhaps I have to help them out a bit, because otherwise they will be flattened in 5 minutes. So Vignesh, I think Vignesh is pretty good. He can handle it. And Sukumari, and you two are, and Goloka is gone already? She's gone, or is she here? I don't see her. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you want to be a Mayavadi or Vaishnavi?
I don't know. I was in the Vaishnava list.
Okay, so you remain a Vaishnavi. You're so good at it. And we'll have everything 3 against 2. Sukumari and Vignesh against you 3. Okay, we are coming to an end. Any questions?
Where's
No
Jyotimai?
Sorry?
Jyotimai drop up?
It looks like it. I mean, I'm on WhatsApp with her. I've been nagging her to get an answer from her. Are you still part of it? And she never replied.
She's still there.
Sorry?
She was
I'm busy
here
all
last
the
week.
time.
Mhm.
So yes, please. My boy is always speaks in my ears. I cannot understand. So
No question here, but I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time out to do this course for us. And I know that it's dwindling, but I very much so appreciate your association and all that I'm learning from it. So, thank you.
yeah, no, definitely. We're on the same boat. Whatever I glean from Buddha Prabhu, I'm just imparting onto you. It's just like, that's what I'm saying, give it to others, We're going to see many things in this life, perhaps, My boy will see the whole century. What is he going to see? So we have to be pretty much Krishna conscious, to brave the whole thing. It's becoming hellish, and it's nonsensical, basically. It doesn't make any sense. It's so Krishna is pushing. I mean, it's like Narad Muni is comes, why are you so becoming weak like this? Don't be lenient, comes, because he freed Devaki and Vasudeva in fear of, he thought that they begot Durga. Durga escaped from his hand, and you're a fool. Your killer is already born elsewhere, don't you know? So he kind of backed out. He became mild a little bit. Narad is coming along, and what's wrong with you? So we may be thinking, what is Narad up to? Yes, he's precipitating the coming of Krishna. So all these things happening now, we have to hold on very tightly. And then there may be definitely some skirmish, some cleaning here and there, no doubt. We have seen already virus and climatic changes and all that kind of stuff. But even if we die, I mean, we just change the body. We are in good position. We just have to intensify, turn the fire a bit more on the burner. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much.
Krishna.
Haribol. Okay, Golokananda, take care.
Hare
I'll send you I'll put it on the YouTube channel and send it off to you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Haribol.